Can you tell us a bit about Grabble?
Sure. So Grabble is, and I'm always very pleased to say, one of the top shopping apps in Europe. We have over 700,000 registered users, around 150,000 monthly active users. To give you an idea of what we do, because of course, like any innovative startup, it changes every few months. And the proposition has to change as our consumers' desire on mobile changes, but we curate the internet and find, from our opinion and our creative team's opinion, the very best items from the top retailers and brands every day and put them on your phone in shoppable content streams. So we're very focused around content and how to make content shoppable, because from our point of view and just what we've seen innovating in the space on mobile specifically, it's very hard to sell anything on mobile unless you have a bit of a story behind it.
And so where did the idea for this app come from?
So this joke sort of changes in between whether I have a girlfriend at the time or my business partner has a girlfriend at the time. But at this current stage, I get to say that he was single. And he was obsessed with Tinder, and we got nicknamed the Tinder for shopping.
Okay.
So that was that's the thing that we occasionally recycle between each other. But the honest truth of the matter is, we literally just looked at the time. So it's 3.5 years ago. We looked at all the other apps that were being done by those that could afford to have apps. So your ASOS's, Net-a-Porter's, Mr. Porter, etc. And we honestly thought they were all crap.
Okay.
Simply because we didn't understand why there were so many awesome apps on our phone that made lots of sense from user journeys and user experience points of view. But then when we went on a shopping app, every single company's app that we looked at did exactly the same thing, which was they took a landscape website and turned it into a portrait with a burger bar over here and just basically replicated their shopping experience. So we were like, it seemed very lazy. And didn't really seem like they were giving much thought to how a consumer would want to shop on mobile and what would make that experience actually fun and engaging.
Okay, so you've integrated the swipe function, haven't you?
Yep, so the swipe function genuinely came out of, which was really fun, but came out of a little innovation project we did. So we built loads of different prototypes, and we already had a really decent back end. So we were very quickly able to say, what would genuinely, this is what we do, what would a Twitter of fashion look like? What would a Tumblr of fashion look like? What would a LinkedIn of fashion look like? So we just took the popular apps as they were and their different user experiences and mocked them up. And obviously one of those was Tinder. And then we put them around a WeWork, which is where we were at the time. And everyone engaged with that product. So it seemed very obvious to us that that's what we should lead with. So it was very much like lean methodology.
Okay.
And it just resonated with people. And then we just got really lucky because the timing was absolutely right. We just happened to...
So you said you were founded in 2014, was that right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then you raised a funding round in 2015.
Yeah.
And so how did that help you? What did that enable?
So we actually initially raised £350,000, and initially we were a social commerce website.
Okay.
So when I said we had a sophisticated back end, we did, but that's because we'd built a website when actually we ended up pivoting to mobile. The reason we did that was because we were far more interested in this challenge. Actually, we didn't really feel like web was a particularly interesting place to be trying to compete. Lots of people are amazing at web, especially in e-commerce. Mm-hmm. Mobile seemed like a better opportunity. At the time of the pivot, we were down to our last £5,000. So everyone in the team had been given notice. Okay. Everyone was working in their final month of the company, and this pivot had to work. And we literally just got so lucky. We launched a product that had total product market fit at the time. We launched with the buzzwords of, Tinder for fashion. We got immediately picked up in everywhere. And we were on the front page of Mail Online, which is, a humongous boost in users. Yeah. And literally, we just completed the fastest ever funding round imaginable. We went out to raise $750 very quickly and closed it within 4 weeks.
Okay.
So we genuinely got lucky, but that was the funding timeline. The first £350,000 we raised was not as rosy.
And are you looking to raise further funds, or are you profitable?
Yeah, so to date we've raised £4 million now.
Okay.
And we are actually just raising at the moment. Now Grabble is sustainable product. It's profitable. It's growing nicely, but we're not trying to grow it aggressively anymore. The reason for that is because actually has a bit of a saturation point in itself. It has 150,000 monthly active users. And the reality is, like, from a personal business point of view, like from a founder point of view, the thing that we're super interested in is innovations on mobile. Okay. So we launched a new consumer product a few months ago called Popcorn, which is a movies trailer app is the easiest way to say it. But we turned all of our code from Grabble into a platform to enable us to release more products quickly and test them. And we launched Popcorn, which has now become #1 app in 7 countries. It dislodged IMDb and Netflix at the top of the entertainment charts in the UK, and it's been like a very successful sort of viral app on its own.
So nothing to do with Grabble, just
nothing at all, a completely separate.
Project.
Yep, and literally it works off an algorithm from an open movies database, so there's not even a content person working on it. It's literally just done by algorithms and then our platform tech. So that's quite nice.
Bored with Grabble? Is that why you're trying new things?
No, but it's more that our creative director runs that now, right? So there also comes a point where, as the founders, you have to sort of say, what value am I adding in a shopping app? Like at the end of the day, we hired a really great, stylish team from lots of different, like from Topshop and Net-a-Porter and all these places. So at some point, as the founders, you have to be like, what am I possibly contributing there? Like, surely, like, our best use is now to think about how else to extend the products in the company.
And so you spoke a bit about the challenges that you felt, and you were, very much down to the mark before you pivoted the company.
Yeah.
Aside from that challenge, what have been the main challenges that you faced in setting up Grabble?
I mean, honestly, it's the same thing that every founder will always say, but funding isn't, a consistent challenge.
Yeah.
And now the biggest challenge in our company by humongous way is hiring. So I can categorically confirm that in the last 12 months, hiring development talent has become nigh on impossible.
Right.
Literally just got off the phone this morning with my business partner talking about how practically, like, we shouldn't be waiting to set up a second office in Lisbon or Berlin. Like, we're hiring like smart developers all the time, and we used to be able to. And bear in mind, like, we're in a very fortunate position as well. We have a well-known brand that's like sexy that people know. And so it's a really great, lucky place to be to hire dev talent in. And like the pool, if we say we're looking for an iOS developer, for example, we might genuinely get, and we'll put 5 recruitment agencies onto it, we might get 6, maybe 7 good people through our doors to interview, full stop, over the period of a month. A year ago, we might get 30, 40, 50, and you get a really big choice. So genuinely, this isn't just a whinge about Brexit, but it's a very realistic problem in the market. Last year we had 2 French and 1 German person. All of them absolutely brilliant. We didn't fire any of them, but they all went back to their own countries because they have their own desire to, like following the Brexit vote. And it makes me really think, like, those are the people that are employed, doing well in a company, and totally welcome by everyone who've lived here for a long time. And if that's what those guys are thinking, imagine what everyone else is thinking. And then it is no wonder that it's impossible to hire developers at the moment in London. So our biggest challenge by so far at the moment is we want to expand quickly, and we're in a really nice position at the moment where we can go for growth. We've got the money to expand, and we're like in a position where we want to do it, but we literally can't find the quality talent to do it. So we're having to look outside of London, but very seriously now. Whereas a year ago it was like, it'd be nice to have a dev office in Berlin, and it'd be fun because we love Berlin. Now it's like, if we don't do that in 6 months, we won't even have a company. So
those are your next steps for growth. Then you're looking at expansion.
I think we have to. I think we have to, and I think that genuinely most companies in our position have to. Yeah. If you're Facebook, they've opened up like a really dev-heavy office in London. Hiring 1,000 developers, et cetera, et cetera. That's awesome, but they can pay more than you, give you a better culture, give you a better way of like everything. They're Facebook. And so if you imagine there's like a shrinking number of developers in the market, plus there's something really aggressive like that comes in, it just becomes a silly situation because, you're genuinely now looking to pay people 20, 30% more than you were last year, yet, you've been screwed in every single other like area of the market too, so it becomes like unsustainable.
Well, let's not focus too much on the doom and gloom.
Sure.
Tell me about some of the real high points of working and setting up Grabble.
Cool. How about employing 2 French people and 1 No, okay, so, there's been lots. So we've been very fortunate that we've collected awards, and they're always really nice to receive, and recognition. I think recognition at any point is great. The moment that always sticks out in my mind the most was during the period that I mentioned earlier where we were running out of money and we had a month and we did have that classic startup story where we were sitting in the Hoxton Hotel on a Sunday night at like 10:30 at night because we didn't even have an office at that point because we had to sell our office and everyone was working remotely. And we did this campaign, and it went so well, but we weren't planning for it to go so well because we didn't think about that, and our servers went down, and all this kind of stuff. But and we had to call up this like Polish systems admin guy in Poland and wake him up. And thank God he was so nice and responsible. He actually set up more servers and helped us get it back up. But it will always stick in my mind because it was that real. Like even on the night kind of thing, and by the next morning, all the investors that had said no, they weren't coming in suddenly were. So I think it's the feeling of triumph against the odds that will always stick out in a founder's mind. If your journey is just like really linear and positive, I think it's really easy to forget those moments. But if you
I'm not sure anyone really has that route, though, do they?
No, probably not.
It's good to hear these stories.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've had lots of them. We genuinely have, and I think everyone does, like you say. But there's no reward without the risk, et cetera, et cetera. So it's those things that really, like, when you look back on the journey, they're the fun bits.
They're the bits that make it all worthwhile.
Totally.
Well, I think that's a lovely note to end on. So thank you very much, Daniel.
Thank you.